Greetings! Welcome to the second episode, or should I say part 2, of the Minecraft movie review of my podcast, Writing Blog. Okay, let's jump right into it. I'm your host, T, and this is a continuation of the Minecraft review movie of Mr. LouiMezDez movie, Herobrine. Woo! So, before we get into things, I've just been made aware that Declan's side story has just been released at the time of recording this. So, I'll be changing some things. So, before we begin with the review, remember this is spoilers. Again, disclaimer, this is fair use, spoilers only. Alright, continuing on. So, if you guys have watched the teaser for the side stories, if you see the names of everyone, again, this is theory time. If you guys have watched the first part of my review, which I highly kind of recommend if you have a lot of time on your hands. So I'm continuing on a recap of what I said, my theory of the colors. Remember, red means nobility, win. Blue means peasantry, lose. This has nothing to do with life and death, but sometimes it does. So now, with the names of the characters revealed, I have just realized it is the opposite this time. So again, remember this is spoilers territory. So with the opposite, the colors of the rainbow, starting from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, red, white, and so on, gray, black. If you see the colors of the names, Alice is yellow, Declan is green, Beth is pink, Ollie is gray. Again, this has to do with the deaths of the characters. So in the order of the death, the first person who died was Ollie, then Declan, then Dan, Ollie, the antagonist's boy toy, then Beth, then, last but not least, Alice. Merlin does not count because he isn't quote-unquote dead, but, quote-unquote sacrificed. If you look at the alphabetical order of the English alphabet, you'll start to notice things. For example, the letter O, aka Ollie. The letter O is the 15th number alphabet, so it starts with 15. Then the next person to die was Declan. D is the number 4. And after Declan was Dan, Ollie's sidekick, and Dan is another D, which means another 4. Keep this in mind. Now, the next person to die was Beth, starting with the letter B, which is number 2 in the alphabet. And finally, lastly, Alice, who is A. A is number 1. If you combine all of these numbers together, you will get the number 25. And 25 in the alphabet is Z or Z, which means I predict, because these are the people who died, their deaths were sacrificed to whoever's above to summon a greater evil. There will be a character with the letter Z, maybe Z or Y, I don't know. Z, who is a great evil in the next movie. Or, I have no idea what I'm going with this theory. So yeah, someone was summoned because of their sacrifice. The next thing has to do with colors. Again, I'm putting the characters in the order of death. So Ollie died first, aka green comes first, then Declan, then green, then we're going to ignore Dan because we don't, he's a side character, and we have Beth. Beth is pink, so pink. Then the next color, which is the last color, is yellow because Alice is the last person to die. If you combine all of these colors together, what do you get? You get a dark shade of gray. And how did these characters die? Their deaths were affected in some way or another by the power or Herobrine, and the power of Herobrine or some involvement with that creature. And guess what color is Herobrine's name? That's right. A dark shade of gray. Dun dun dun! A dark shade of gray. And the only two other characters whose names are the colors that were not affected were Gregory, dark blue, and Shannon, red. They were both not killed by Herobrine, and they're still alive. Funny how these two colors represent the balancing forces of nature. Red and blue, win and lose. Ooh! And the colors in between those two were left for death. Alright, that concludes my theory because I have nothing else better to do. Alright, theory time is over. Let's get into the video. So, continuing on from part 1, after the scene of Derek, the protagonist, leaving to go home, and Greg reassuring Greg, aka Derek's stepdad, reassuring Hannah, a irrelevant side character who's a farmer, to just go home because she saw her cow disappear. But Greg said, "Oh, you must have drank too much," which solidifies my first theory in the. Well, not a theory, it's a statement, a fact, that women during the medieval times had very few options. We could only be alcoholics with low self esteem or oppressed nobles with cash. Yes, it's very tough. We only have two options. Boo. And again, it's very tricky to introduce so many characters, but the director made it work. So congrats, Mr. Louis. Now, continuing. When the serving girl Abigail was introduced into the throne room, because there's a castle introduction scene. It's so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. Again, there's so many symbolisms. Oh, something I noticed. In this particular movie set, the castle is a beautiful integration of nature and vines and an old castle like medieval feel. It's so gorgeous because if you look at other castles, they would most people would just try to go for a natural, normal, standard castle theme, walls, high walls, that sort of thing. But I'm really glad the director decided or the artists, the builders, the people who chose to go with this sort of nature castle. It was beautiful. It's very iconic. It's a very memorable moment in the movie to just recall, oh my goodness, this castle is so unique, so gorgeous, because no other movie would have a castle like this. So bravo for that choice. And the queen and king are introduced. They're very lovely. Their designs, and again, the castle's interior, the throne room is designed to be a combination of blue and red, representing the forces of nature, win and lose, nobility and peasantry. You get it? And even the king and queen themselves have some element of purple, which is the in between, the middle class, the balance, or mostly the king. And Abigail, the queen's beautiful serving girl, her design is one of my favorites. It's one of the most beautiful designs in the entire movie. She's one of the prettiest characters, and she's prettier than Alice. Oof, that is just my opinion. And yes, Abigail may not have a lot of screen time, but she's a fan favorite, I am sure. She's such a gorgeous, oh, so pretty. I forgot what she was supposed to do there. I think the queen told her to check on Ollie or something. I don't know. Oh, a funny thing I noticed. Okay, this is very comedic. At exactly 35:56, in the tournament arena, there's the sound effects of applause. The crowd is going wild. Everyone's whistling, cheering, and the camera moves to reveal only 8 people. 8 people. And all the other seats around, okay, yeah, sure, that those 8 people are just a little bit scattered around so that it looks more less empty, but it still feels empty because I can imagine the arena in my head and the seats of the people are just there. Oh my gosh. I wish there were more extras or just, a bunch of blocks that are maybe gray so that the kingdom doesn't feel that empty. And it's a bit funny because at 36:03, Sir Lancelot, the best knight, beside the king and queen, is announcing, there's the competitor for this round has charmed every maiden in the kingdom, Sir James. Woo! Again, mind you guys, the kingdom is not very full. Okay, let's just giving the director benefit of the doubt. If you guys do the maths, So there are these two girls from the cafe scene, from the pie restaurant. There are these two women sitting outside of the restaurant just talking away. Okay, that's two. And the queen, of course, that makes it three. Her serving girl, her only apparent, serving girl, at least we see on screen, Abigail, so that makes four. The pumpkin pie shop owner, Shay, Beth, Shannon, Alice. So overall, there are only 9 maidens in the entire kingdom of Camelot. So does that mean all of them are crushing on Sir James? Cheating conspiracy. Maybe. Maybe Alice is going to leave Derek for Sir James. Maybe the Queen really likes Sir James too. I wonder if. Nah. But still though, it's a funny small detail I wanted to bring up. Of course, ignoring the knights because the knights, if we're following the original, this movie is based off of, the King Arthur story. So the 3 knights are exactly the same knights from that story. And if you look back at the arena, I love how you guys remember Declan, Derek's best friend, aka the thief, aka trying to find his long lost sister, aka the person who's banished from the kingdom. I love how he's forgotten by the knights and by the queen and king. Well, of course, okay, leaving them aside. He's someone who's wanted, and he's right there, sitting in the arena. Is he not going to wear a mask? No anything? No other, protection? And no one even notices. Like, okay, alright, Derek is Declan's best friend, so of course he's going to recognize him. But really, in the much later, parts of the movie, Declan was a bit worried that the knights will recognize him because, again, the kingdom is very small. Everyone knows each other. But since it's the tournament, no one notices Declan, I guess? Alright, movie logic. Because I'm sure there must be a way through drawing a mask. I think some sort of disguise. Maybe he can cover half of his face with some sort of blanket or like a black shield, something. And we, the audience, can still tell that, oh, that's Declan, of course. Because he's still trying to hide his face. He's not even looking down. He's just in the second row of the arena, looking boldly out. Alright, I love this. And in 2512, when Declan is leaving after their small little reunion chat, Declan goes, that small laugh is so cute. It adds to his personality. I also love how during their talk, they mentioned the other characters like Shannon. Well, okay, they only mentioned Shannon, the drunk girl who's a crybaby. And it adds more personality to know that Shannon cried when Declan, disappeared. She cried for weeks or something like that. I really wish that the other characters, Beth and Alice, I wish that the other characters spoke more about them, like more info, because Beth has one of the most underdeveloped, predictable, but shocking personalities. I will get back to this because I thought she was very suspicious. And she is a bit creepy. In my next part, I will mention this, hopefully. But there's a part where it made me go, what the hell is this girl? What the hell? I was expecting a subplot where Beth is revealed to be, I don't know, not a psychopath, but just someone who's trying to sabotage the relationship between Alice and Derek because she was jealous that Derek had Alice to himself. Because it's very clear even at the beginning of the movie, Alice and Beth are super close friends. Like, those two are a group. Like, they cheered Derek on when he was sword fighting Greg. Like, he was getting trained. So yeah, that's it. Okay, bye!